Now we come back to set. Katie Pavlich, Fox News contributor, townhall.com editor, and Charlie Hurt, Fox and Friends weekend co-host, the man who never sleeps. Thanks, both of you, for coming on set. Just give me one word on this. I mean, I just find this whole thing so to say. Go ahead, Katie. I don't want. I have other fish to fry. Much nicer looking fish. But
better tasting fish.
Better tasting fish. Thank you. I love it when you finish my paragraphs. It's really terrific stuff. Go ahead. Give me a comment on Comey and this prosecution.
Well, we live in a country where if you're going to have any confidence in the justice system, everybody has to be held accountable to it, including the people who are in charge, which in this case was former director of the FBI, James Comey. There is plenty of evidence outside of the courtroom to show that he lied under oath to the Senate Judiciary Committee on a number of different fronts. This is specific to a certain testimony that he gave in 2020 about leaking information. But politically, I find it very interesting. I went to the X account of Hillary Clinton today, and she has no statements in defense of James Comey because she believes that he lost her the 2016 presidential election. So for people who are saying this is simply a response from Trump to go after Comey politically, that he's punishing his enemies. No, this is about a very specific incident where he allegedly lied under oath to Congress.
Of course.
And if we're going to have perjury laws on the books, then we should enforce them. If you don't want to have them on the books, then take them off. But if you're going to make law, you should enforce it. And that includes for people like James Comey.
I'm just going to say, of course he did, but I have to say they're allegations because I don't know that of course he did. But of course he was a bad guy. Of course he caused unbelievable angst, which turned out to be completely, utterly false.
It was a witch hunt.
A witch hunt. There you go. Terrific stuff. Here's much more fun. This is from Kim Strassel's article. This is from Unleashed Prosperity. This is from Newt Gingrich last night. This is from Kudlow. I know there's nothing more boring than a government shutdown. Nothing more boring, right? I mean, you go through the motions, nothing really happens. Employees they lose their job, they get furloughed, and they get hired back. Wait a minute, hang on 1 second. Russell Vought is saying we will not hire you back. We could be talking about a couple 300,000 federal employees that Elon Musk wanted to get rid of in the first place. It may come to pass. We've had this reconciliation with Donald Trump. That's one angle here. And the other angle, I was trying to persuade Charlie before you got here, Katie, offset, that the economy is booming. It's just gone 3.8%, nearly 4% in the second quarter. And the Hotlanta Fed is now estimating nearly 4% in the third quarter. So who needs government workers and phony commissions and whatnot anyway? As long as we preserve Social Security and Medicare and military, who needs all this other stuff?
The most enraging part of every one of these government shutdowns is the end where they hire everybody back and you give them back pay, even though they weren't working for that period of time. And I think it's important to remember, if you go back through every single one of the government shutdowns, even if it was a Democrat's fault, Republicans got blamed for it because the Democrats had the media. But if you go back and you look at every one of these government shutdowns that Republicans were blamed for, you cannot find an example where Republicans were actually punished for it. They weren't punished for it because, as you said, most people don't give a crap. They have no. You can shut down the Department of Labor, and if it weren't for the media, it would be decades before anybody in the regular workforce would have any idea that the stupid Department of Labor had been furloughed or whatever. So. I think you're exactly right about it.
Businesses are booming. Consumers are booming. Unemployment claims are coming back down. Inflation's coming back down. Interest rates are coming down. Who needs the federal government anyway? I mean, Social Security, yes. Medicare, yes. Military operations. But the rest of us, the Democratic stuff that they're gnashing their teeth and wailing and whining about.
The pet projects, all the money for. Yeah, exactly.
Who cares about that stuff?
Well, for the first time in a long time, we're seeing in these employment and unemployment reports that there are more private sector jobs than there are government jobs being created. And that is also driving this economic boom, which is going to grow the economy because, as we know, government jobs only take away from the economy. But the key tell, and we've talked about this a lot when it comes to a government shutdown, is they always say, well, we're going to make sure that only essential employees remain at the office. Well, that's pretty clear that there's a whole lot of non-essential employees, and because they're funded by taxpayers, they're, again, takers not makers, then you should consider what the president is proposing, that if they're not essential in a government shutdown, then are they really essential to the functioning of the country? And in a lot of these cases, we're finding out the answer is no.
Elon Musk is going to be beside himself with joy.
Yes.
He gave up too soon.
Well,
Now that he's reconciled with Trump anyway, but the fact of the matter is they wanted 300,000 some odd. He's going to get it. And Russell Vought, listen, if you know Russell Vought, I know Russell very well, worked together and Trump won. He's a strong guy, tough as nails. And I'm sure the president's giving him a green light. He will not relent. No. That's the beauty of this. He will not relent. You are right. These are not furloughs. These are permanent end. And incidentally, Charlie, they're from Virginia.
Right.
And Maryland, where you live.
Right.
You live in Virginia. You live in Western
but they're in, as you point out, in blue states.
That way. Yeah.
Look, if you're the Democrat Party, the spine that runs through the Democrat Party today, that I think is the only thing that's still true about the Democrat Party, is that they believe that the federal government is an essential organization, and without it, the whole country fails. And if you think that the federal government is the most important thing, then you think that suddenly you think that shutting down the most important thing is a good idea. It's not going to. They're going to pay a political price for it within their own party. The rest of us are going to be thrilled.
Yeah.
Trump's business, factory, blue collar boom, it's happening ahead of time, if anything. Really, these are incredible.
It all comes down to that.
And inflation is coming down at the same time. Okay, we're going to have some fun now. You also know that Donald Trump is a great sportsman.
Yes, he
He
is.
loves to go to sporting events. Today he showed up at the Ryder Cup, which is in New York, at the famous Long Island Black course. People love him when he shows up.
Yes.
Just take a listen to this. USA. We got some of that. This is still, USA. Even when he went to Yankee Stadium for 9/11, people loved him for it. Even when he went to the tennis matches, he did well, and that's not really his crowd, right?
I guess not, but I find it amazing that he was there today and he was watching the players on their drives, standing right behind them. Can you imagine trying to drive when A, the president of the United States, and B, the president, who's also a pretty good golfer, is making sure that you don't mess it up. But the other thing is he can go from golf, very fancy and swanky, to the UFC fight that he's going to have on the South Lawn of the White House. I mean, the range of him in terms of his cultural experience, whether it's sports or other topics, is amazing.
What is it about him, Charlie? We've never had a president. We talked about this morning on Outnumbered for a bit. We've never really had a president who who was so involved in all manner of sports, as Katie suggests. Papa Bush was a great sportsman. He was a fisherman, but he was a golfer and he was a tennis player. And I know those are hoity-toity sports that I played in college. But the fact is, he goes to everything. He goes to the wrestling matches. He goes to the kick matches. And he's cheered everywhere, which is so interesting. And the Daytona 500, he's being cheered. And people see this like as America first. USA, USA, USA. Now, that's something different.
I think that politicians get bitten by this curse that they believe that everything that people care about is politics, and that politics is the most important thing. No, that's actually not it at all. Those of us who believe in limited government, we believe in politics because we want to keep government out of all the stuff we love and care about, whether it's golf or tennis or hunting or fishing or doing whatever it is that we like, all of the work that we do, the great work that American workers do across this country. And he understands that. And because he understands that deep in his soul, and he knows what he thinks, and he's comfortable in his own skin, he can walk into any. And of course, he hits the tennis tournament, the baseball game, the golf course after absolutely ripping the United Nations.
So great. It's so good.
And I was thinking, like 10 years ago, Papa Bush would have said something like, "Oh, we believe in free speech," and all the press would be like, "Oh, can you believe he said that in front of the Arab?"
Globalist.
And then Trump goes in there and goes, "You guys all are terrible. I solved 7 wars, and all you guys are a broken escalator and a teleprompter.
And your countries are going to hell, is what he said.
Papa Bush was a wonderful man, but he was the total global. He invented globalism. None of it worked out. The only downside to this story is we lost Scotty Scheffler. They all lost the Ryder Cup match. As far as I know, we might have won one, but we lost at least 3 Ryder Cup singles this morning. That's the only downside. I hate to say it. Katie Pavlich, thank you. Charlie Hurt.
See you, Larry.
Thank you so much.